There is a secret hidden for thousands of years. As the master of food and beverage of this place, he will reveal it to you. The world needs to know. His name is Paul Schenk.
Hi, I'm Paul Schenk, and I'm here to introduce you to the world's best-kept culinary secret. It's Korean food, also known as hanshik. Now we're going to make a dish called Nokdu Bindaedok. Nokdu means mung bean. Bindaedok means welcome rice cake. So it's a welcome dish for our guests. I've got the bowl of mung beans soaking in front of me. Let's go give this dish a crack. Okay, so I've got my mung beans. What I've done with the mung beans come dried, and then what I've done is soaked them and then washed them. Come on in and have a look. You can see the mung beans there. They've been washed. Some still have a little bit of the green on, but in general, that's looking great. I've also got in front of me some rice that I've been soaking. It's half a cup of rice. That's also been soaking for a few hours. Dok means rice cake. There's a little bit of rice in this mixture, not a lot. So the balance is there. But funny enough, it's not really a rice cake. It's more of a mung bean cake. I'm just going to strain this off first. I'll strain off my mung beans. And then to this, what I will do is add water to make the right consistency. So behind me I've got a blender. I will add the mung beans first, and I will add all of this. That's a lot. Now, of course, if I put the blender on right now, this is going to be extremely dry. I need some moisture. So I'll put all that mung beans in, and that one poor little cup of rice. In it goes. I'll prepare some water to have ready. I'm going to put some water in first to get it started. And we'll add it bit by bit until I have the right consistency. So to get it started, that should be enough. And then more as I go. Turn it on. Wow, I think I actually got it with the water measurements straight up. That was very lucky. The texture looks good. That's about the consistency I'm after. You'll see it when I pour it into the bowl, the consistency. See how that's created a batter? I'm happy with that. All right, so I've got a pork loin ready to go. I'm after a small dice. First, I will just take off the fat. Give that a quick trim. I don't really want the fat on this one. Okay, just trim that up. Good. Diced. So I'll slice through. Look at that gorgeous lean pork. There we go. That looks good. It's good looking meat. Now, this is the real recipe for Nokdu Bindaedok. If you decide, or if you don't like pork or don't want pork, of course you can change it. It's totally up to your taste, but this is the original. Okay. That's sliced through, it's diced. I'm just going to put that into a bowl and then give it a marination. Marination time. Some finely chopped garlic I'll put in. 1 teaspoon for this amount should be plenty. I've got some spring onions chopped. A couple of spoons is good. Some sesame seeds. Sprinkling of sesame seeds. I've got sesame oil. A little bit of sesame oil. Some soy sauce. that should do. We'll marinate that for a few minutes, and then I'm going to stir fry it in a nice hot pan. We're ready to cook. Here's the pork. Looking good. It's hot enough. Put it all in one go. Stir fry this off. Only take a couple of minutes. Now with this dish, Noktu Bindedok, it's a real traditional classic to eat when it's raining. And these days, it's the absolute fashion. Every time it rains, everybody goes out and drinks makgeolli and has pudgeon. I've got a few vegetables that I need to prepare now, so I'm just going to duck off to the fridge. Let's have a look. What have we got? Oh, look at that, my favorite. Seems to come up everywhere I go. Kimchi. Got a couple of chilies there. Some goodies. Look at this. First thing I've got in front of me, I need to boil these mung bean sprouts. And I've got something here that's called fern break or gosari. And you can see the end of the fern, all the little leaves curled up. Going to use this. Okay, so I've got the boiling water on. Simply flash them into the boiling water. This is going to take a whole 10 seconds to do, very quickly, what we call blanching. Make sure the water's got salt in it. I put a little bit of salt in the water. We're going to strain that off and then run it under cold water to stop the cooking process. I'm ready with the mung beans. Run that under cold water. What that does is that instantly stops the cooking process. It's not going to cook any further. I'll start chopping the gosari in front of me. All I want to do is chop it into 1 centimetre lengths. So I'll try and line this out best I can. Okay, we'll start from the top, like so. We've got quite a big sized batch there of the mung bean puree. So of course we need to make sure that we have enough ingredients to go inside to give it the full flavour. Okay, gosari is done. Next I will do the mung bean sprouts. Once again, I just run a knife through them at 1 centimetre intervals. What is next? Kimchi is next. Clean down. Always good to work clean. The cleaner you work, the more organised you'll be. I just need a few leaves of the kimchi. I'm not going to wash it. The outer leaves are good to use because they're easy to chop. For this amount, I'd say 5 leaves would be a good amount. Okay. Look at that gorgeous colour. A very distinct smell from the kimchi. This is going to add great flavour. Okay, green and red chilli. I'm just going to thinly slice them on the angle. Not going to cut them or clean them or clean out any of the seeds. So we'll take off the head of the chilli and then I'll slice it on the angle, fairly thin. So that wraps up our vegetable preparation. Everything's ready to go. Looking good. The next step of this is to actually mix our batter now. I call it the batter, but it's actually a puree. Look at that consistency. It's been sitting there for half an hour or 20 minutes. It's just mung beans that have been soaked and washed, rice and water. That's all we have in there at this stage. To this, I will add the chopped gosari. We've got the mung beans chopped, or the mung bean sprout chopped, and the kimchi finally. And then I'll mix the whole lot up together. Okay, give this a mix. Come on in, Duncan, have a look at the mix. You can see the color in there. See, such an easy recipe to make. The process of the mung beans takes a bit of time, but everything else is fairly straightforward. Okay, that's well mixed. So I've got my mixture. I want to make it a little bit thicker than a thin crust pizza. So I'm going to put it in, level it out, get it to the right size. We want quite a big size. I want it full pan size. So we bring that out to the edge. Looking good, it's sizzling. The mix, I hope it's thick enough to hold when I flip it over. It's a key point. Okay, I can see that that's a good thickness. Very natural and rustic looking. Okay, I think it's time now to put the pork on top and the chilies. The pork's cooled down. Sprinkle that on top, again as much or as little as you like. I love the pork on top, so I'm going to put quite a bit. Wow, that's loaded with pork. And then chilies. I like chili, so again, we just make sure that we press it into the batter. Come on in, Duncan, have a look, have a close look at this as I push each piece in. We're getting a good color on the Nokdu Binde Dok. Okay, that should be enough chili. Ready to turn it over. I've got to check it. Big spatula. Take care with this part. You can see that's holding well. The color's good. It's crispy. Now I'm going to turn it over. Ready? On the count of 3. This should work. 1, 2, 3. It's very crispy. That's perfect. That's exactly what we are after. So, Binde Dok is ready. I have to turn it back over because I have the chilies and the pork for the presentation. Get out my trusty spatula once again. Hopefully it holds shape and doesn't break now. It's quite hot, but I'll support it with my hand. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wow. Wow, I'm really, really happy with that. We have just uncovered another world's best kept culinary secret. This is Nokdu Binde Dok. It's a wonderful dish. Healthy, easy to make. I hope you enjoy making it. I really enjoyed making that one. That was fun. Hi, I'm Paul Schenk, and I'm here to introduce you to the world's best kept culinary secret. It's Korean food, also known as hanshik. Now we're going to make a real Korean classic hamul pajeon. Hamul means seafood, pa means green onion, and jeon is like a savory pancake. So it's a seafood with green onion savory pancake. I've got to go to the fridge and grab out the seafood. It's our first step. So let's give this dish a crack. What are we looking for? Seafood. Gorgeous fresh seafood. So I've got with me a great selection of fresh seafood. Now, the selection that I've chosen today is based on the traditional recipe, and it's based on what we can get here in Korea at the moment. So I've got to chop the squid to match the size for us. I've got squid legs. I've just taken the legs, the head off, and I've cleaned inside the squid. I'm going to slice rings, thinly sliced rings of the squid. Be careful when doing this, it is slippery. You don't want to cut yourself. We'll just slice the bottom fin part. Now with the legs, I want to keep the legs with the tentacles. Just slice them into lengths of 3 or 4 centimeters. I'll take off the very bottom piece so the legs are separate. Slice that through. There we go. Our squid is good. I've got the clams. I'll just give the clams one more quick wash. Okay, so the clams are good. All right, I'll put the clams, drain that liquid off. Put the clams in with the squid. The oysters, I'll drain off the liquid from the oysters. Gorgeous fresh oysters. I've got the small prawns, pop them in. And the scallops, I'm going to slice the scallops through into 3. Actually into 2, that's fine. They're not that thick a scallop, it's okay. Yeah, this one I'll do in 3, it's a bit bigger. You want it quite thin so it cooks the same time as the other ingredients. Great. Okay, so the seafood's there. I've just got to add a little bit of seasoning to this seafood. A touch of salt, some black pepper. I've got some chopped garlic here, a little bit of chopped spring onion, some sesame seeds, sprinkling of sesame seeds, and some sesame oil. Trusty squeezy bottle, sesame oil. That's a nice marination. Mix that in well. I've got my spring onions. Spring onions, I just have to make sure that they're clean and that there's no little dead pieces on them. So I've just got to give them a wash in the sink. I need enough for 1 pancake. 1 pancake requires quite a bit. Try and get the smaller spring onions. These are small, not the big size. But I think that will be enough for 1 portion. Okay, we'll give them a wash. Looking good. Very fresh. All right. Shake off the water. Should be enough for 1. All right. What I need to do is line them up. Take off the bottom of them. I'll use that for a soup or a stock or something later. And then I'd like them at this length. Looking good. Next is the chilies. I'm going to prepare the chilies. Chilies are something that you can add more of or less of. For this recipe, definitely requires chili. That is, hamel padjon is not the same without them. Green and red, sliced on the angle, quite fine. That's a really nice chili. It's very crisp. It's always good to test the spiciness of the chili too, because that obviously gives you a gauge of how much or how little you should put in. Beautiful flavor. This one's not spicy at all, so I'm going to put quite a bit. It's almost like a capsicum. A little bit of spice coming in now, but not much. Lucky me. The next step is to make the batter. The batter's really easy. Dead easy. I've got a bowl here. In the bowl, I'm going to add 2 parts plain flour, 1 part chapsal or sticky or glutinous rice flour. And to this, I just need to add some water. Now, the water we add bit by bit as we go. To this, I'm also going to add some salt. Not too much, because there's already the seafood's already salted. A little bit of pepper in there. Put the egg in now also. So 1 egg, in it goes. And then the water, bit by bit. Come on in, Duncan, and have a close look at what I'm doing. You can see the mixture in the middle and the flour on the outside. Add a bit more water, and this will just thicken up. It'll take on more of the flour from the outside. It's looking good. Very smooth. I think we're just about right there. Yep, that's looking good. I'm happy with that. You can see the texture when I hold it up. Woo. First step for cooking process. A touch of oil, a non-stick fry pan that's warm. Once again, I don't want it too hot. A little bit of oil, not too much. The pa, or the spring onion that I prepared earlier, we're going to spread out evenly on the fry pan. You can hear a little bit of a sizzle already. And then facing the other way. The size that I cut them is perfect for this fry pan. That's a good amount. You can see that amount there, Duncan. That's a good amount for one pancake. To this, I'm going to pour over now a little of the batter. Very smooth, nice batter. 1 spoonful, put it around. A little bit more. We don't want too much. For this, I will actually bring in my hand to spread it out evenly. Make sure that we've got it, all the corners covered. There we go. We're going to cook that on a very low heat, because what will happen is the onions will discolor. So very low heat so they don't discolor too much. Now's the time to put the seafood on top. We've got oysters, prawns, calamari or squid rings. I like seafood, so I'm going to put a lot on here. You can, of course, make a padjon with different toppings. Looks good, right? They often refer to this too as the Korean pizza. I guess the only resemblance really is that it's got flour in it, some of the ingredients, and the shape. Afterwards you can cut it into wedges or however you like. The chilies I'm going to put on top. Put them around. Again, they're not spicy, they're not particularly spicy, so you can put a lot on. I think the temperature should be fine. The batter's cooking well underneath. One little trick to put on top, I've got my egg mix. One more egg in here. I'm going to put a touch of water inside it, just a touch. Touch of water, mix it up. This is going to go over the top of the john, the hamil padjon. A little bit more, and that will seal in all of those ingredients on the top. Oh, it's cooking really well. Alright, I think it's ready to flip. This will be one action. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. We're going to cook it on this side now for a few more minutes on a very low heat. Alright, we're ready to turn it over. Duncan, you ready? Alright, we'll turn this over and see how it looks. Fingers crossed, it's looking good. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, that's looking great. See the color on that? It's got nice color. The seafood's cooked through. I believe we're ready to plate it up and eat it. I will present it seafood side up so you can see all the seafood. See everything there. And there we have it. Wow, look at that. That is incredible. Now, this dish you could not even think about eating without having a glass of makgeolli. Now, traditionally, makgeolli, hamil padjon, hand in hand, 100%. I'm ready to go. I've got the makgeolli, 1 glass, you can see that. Fermented rice wine. We have just uncovered one of the world's best kept culinary secrets. This is hamil padjon, seafood savory pancake with spring onions. It's a gorgeous dish, easy to make. Give it a crack, have some fun with it, and more importantly, enjoy eating it with some friends. Enjoy that.